So last weekend, Transformers Rise of the Beast dropped in theaters, so it's time for me to rank all 7 Transformers movies from the worst to the best. Hi, my name is Nathan and I talk about a bunch of movies on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share your ranking of all 7 Transformers movies over on my channel. I have more content like this. Check those out once this video is over. Click that like button, be sure to subscribe, it really does help a lot, and with that said, let's just get into the ranking. Easily in last place, Transformers The Last Knight. Now, I saw this movie in the theater when I was 7, and it's just an absolutely bonkers film that feels like it's multiple Transformers movies meshed up into one film. So it has several plot lines with the Nazis, with King Arthur, it's a romance for Mark Wahlberg's character, you get Anthony Hopkins and this robot, Optimus Prime is turning evil in this movie, all of a sudden there's a different planet where they're battling on in the final battle, and it just has so many plot lines. In the theater I was in, I felt like I was hallucinating because the aspect ratio keeps changing, and it's so distracting that you will only pay attention to the bottom or top of your screen. This movie is just one of the worst movies ever made. Number 6, Transformers Age of Extinction. There's actually some good ideas put into this movie that are either executed poorly or go absolutely nowhere. And instead, Michael Bay gives us a film where every single scene and sequence is just meant to set up the next action sequence in the film. There's no storyline, there's no good storytelling, there's nobody moving the plot forward. It's just action sequence after action sequence. And stuff like this is why the Mark Wahlberg era of Transformers movies is the worst era of the Transformers movies to me. The characters are also not very likable, but at least it's more coherent than The Last Knight was, where The Last Knight just went absolutely bonkers with its storytelling. Number 5, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and I'm a bit biased towards this movie because it came out in the year 2009, the year I was born, but this is not a good movie at all. There's a troubled production behind the scenes with a writer's strike taking place. That's funny because a writer's strike is taking place right now, and it was shot without a script. So therefore, the movie just makes itself up as it goes along. There's teleportation devices that are all of a sudden introduced only for a third act to happen. There's Decepticons that can turn into humans, and they just want to make out with people like Sam. And the humor doesn't work as much as it did in the original Transformers film. Now, the reason this movie's higher up than Age of Extinction and The Last Knight is that I find Sam from Shia LaBeouf a lot more likable and charming than Cade from Mark Wahlberg, but this is still a garbage film. Number 4, Transformers Rise of the Beast. To be clear, there's a pretty big gap from Revenge of the Fallen to Rise of the Beast, because I think Rise of the Beast is enjoyable enough, but that's not saying that's actually all that good. It's only an okay addition to the franchise. Right off the bat, there's also more of like a clearer plot than all the other Michael Bay films where you know what the characters are trying to accomplish, and there's this relic hunting element that's an Indiana Jones type thing that I thought was kind of cool. But the human characters were uninteresting. But then you also have standout new characters like Mirage. But then you also have emotional and shocking scenes that just make me laugh. The way it's structured makes it kind of feel like a video game where you get different missions, and then you have our big final battle out in the middle of nowhere, and the ending is just bonkers. This twist at the end, to me, it was just bonkers. My theater was laughing at the very end of this movie. It's entertaining enough, but it's only okay. Next up is Transformers Dark of the Moon. This movie works a lot better as a big-budget Michael Bay film than as an actual Transformers movie. On the positive side, of course, the final battle is pretty phenomenal with the epic finale in Chicago. There's some nice ideas here that tie the Transformers to the mythology of the moon. That was kind of nice. There's some nice new character dynamics here. But the big standout, of course, as I mentioned before, is the finale in Chicago, where everything looks gigantic. Easily the best battle in this entire franchise. Now, it does have its issues with its characters, its character arcs, but if I'm in the mood for a Transformers sequel, I'm probably going to watch this one, because you go to these movies to get big, gigantic robot spectacle, and this movie delivers the most of that of all the Transformers movies. Our runner-up is the original Transformers. Our introduction to the Transformers world from Michael Bay is easily the best of Michael Bay's Transformers movie. Simply because I think the humor works a lot better in this movie. Before it went all bonkers with the Mark Wahlberg era, I think this film actually, the Michael Bay humor fits within the tone of this movie. And it uses our lead character Sam, who is a very charming character from Shia LaBeouf, and it uses him to learn about the world, the mythology of the Transformers franchise. And I thought that was a really nice way to make this like point of view character, as whilst he's learning about the Transformers, the audience is also learning about the Transformers. There's a much clearer threat than the rest of the Michael Bay films, and it's just a fun adventure while also having the big spectacle you expect from these movies. So this one's easily the best of the Michael Bay Transformers movie. But in first place is Bumblebee. This is easily the best of the Transformers movies for several different reasons. Right off the bat, it's an E.T. boy and his dog story, but not necessarily. In this case, it's a girl and her Bumblebee Transformer story, and it's through that it's much more character based, where characters clearly have character arcs, they have backstories, motivation, and it all works much better than all the other films in this franchise. And what you come to this franchise for, what makes it interesting, you come to it for big, gigantic spectacle, and here, it's the most small scale of them. It doesn't rely on any CGI action, because there's an emotional story for Bumblebee, our Charlie character, and I wish there were just more blockbusters like this that don't rely on big CGI spectacle and just can tell a character-based story like this one, and it draws out some emotions at the end. So this is easily the best of the Transformers movies. There you have it, that's my ranking. Down below in the comment section, share your ranking over on my channel. I have more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end, and I will see you in the next one.